welcome to registration for your senior year. If you could have your iPads out, most of you do, and if you could please navigate to the CHS website. Hopefully we'll be able to show you, oh, yes, we do. Sweet. Okay, so we'll be getting started here. So if we could go to the CHS website together, tell me when you get there. So you'll go CHS. Thank you so much. So today you have 3 counselors in here as we get started. So as you'll see above here on the screen, we're at the CHS website, and you'll look to your right near the bottom where it says Counseling and Career Department. If you go ahead and click there, please. We are launching registration. Today we're in classrooms helping you make choices for next year. We're going to go over that today. We're going to go over the form today that you can make those course selections. And this is an editable form. That means that you can enter your course request for next year as many times as you want between now and midnight next Thursday, so that you can kind of get information from peers, teachers, about the classes you want to take next year. Tonight at 6 o'clock is a webinar. You're invited to attend, and I'll show you where to find all this stuff now. All right, so you're on the CHS Counseling Department. You are the class of 2025, so if you hover over that and touch it, you'll see the course selection for your class, and it says what's happening. You've been getting Canvas messages about this too as well. So we're in your classes now talking about what to take next year, helping you plan. The next step is a webinar tonight at 6 o'clock, and there's a hyperlink for the webinar, so we encourage you and your parents to attend tonight. It'll be information about courses, also information that you need to have as rising seniors. You're just a few months away from being a senior in high school.
And if I could pause for just 1 minute just to say, follow along with us as we go. I know some of you are eager and you're like, there's the form, and you're looking at it right now. We're going to get to that. But we don't want you to miss important information as far as where you can find course descriptions, where you can find things that we've added just this year for you. So we promise we're going to get to that form. We're going to walk you step by step through it, and we're going to actually have you submit it before you leave class today. So we promise we will get there, but just try to follow along, okay?
All right. And then the course selection form closes on the 15th, a week from tonight. And then we will start to see you through your social science classes in February and very early March to go over the requests that you put on your form. And at that time, we can also talk to you about summer school. If there's any issues that we need to discuss, we'll discuss them there. So you're going to select, and we're going to meet, and we're going to confirm that all the things that you want to do are aligned with your goals and your needs. Okay?
The date that we will meet with you is actually on the back of this form. So you don't have to look at it right now, but just know that it shows you based on your teacher when you're going to come in to meet with your counselor. Okay?
All right. So you see the webinar link. The webinar slides are listed. The course selection form is next. So if you go ahead and touch the course selection form, and this will be familiar to you like the last few years. It's been a Google form, and again, it is editable. So the choices that we make together this morning can be changed at any time, as many times until next week, midnight, next Thursday night at midnight. So let's go ahead through the form, and basically we want you to put in your student email, please. And the course selection resources are listed here. So resources would be the course description book and the counseling pages. And we'll go over the counseling pages as soon as we go over this, but we do want to make sure you know how to use this form and answer any questions, because there are some new classes for next year that we want to share. All right, summer school is also, summer school is going to be offered. Our summer school form is not yet available, but you can count on being able to take Econ and Government this summer at Claremont. Our summer school schedule is changing for this summer. We will have 2 summer sessions at CHS. Each session will be 10 days long, and some courses that are get ahead, like government and econ, will be online, synchronous, and that would be a 10-day government class and a 10-day econ class. And if you need credit recovery, which I kind of doubt in this group you might, but if you needed credit recovery, those would also be 10 days long for each session, and they would be in person. The summer school form will come out shortly. As usual, we want to just kind of know who all our students are. There's some basic questions like, do you have an IEP or a 504? Provide your student ID that helps to identify you. You'd be surprised that a lot of students here at CHS have duplicate names, same first, same last. So putting your student ID helps to confirm the right student. The basics, you're putting in student, your last name and your first name.
And please put those in the appropriate spot, because again, sometimes a counselor cannot find his or her student because they flip-flopped first and last name, and that means you're in somebody else's stack. So make sure that the last name goes in the last name spot, okay?
All right. You might remember these questions too. We want to know what your goals are after graduation. So indicate as many boxes as appropriate for what you're wishing to prepare for after high school graduation.
If I can add one thing to that piece, just know that that helps drive a conversation. Sometimes students see that as, I'm committing to doing this thing, but I'm not really sure. I might be going straight to a 4-year. I might be considering a 2-year college for financial reasons. It's okay. This just helps your counselor to make sure that we ask you the appropriate questions to make sure that your course is aligned, which of course they're going to because you're following an IB pathway, but that's what that question is for. So don't freak out. And if you need to check more than one, it's okay.
All right. We also want to know if you are playing sports. You may have heard that there's going to be some new alternatives for sports PE and athletes. If not, we can talk to you about that when we meet with you. Some of you are done with your PE credits, but if some of you are athletes, we kind of want to know that for a variety of reasons. Let's see. There's a question. Are you full diploma candidate? How many of you in here are full diploma candidates? Okay, so please make sure you mark that because your counselor is going to make sure that your IB curriculum is aligned with that DP goal. All right. So there's some information here about the coursework, giving you some idea about what all these little notations mean. So there's that little guide above at the very top that has the G, the plus, R, D, and I. All right, start time. Obvious, same type of bell schedule for next year is the plan. You can start school at 7:25 or 8:30, and some of you in DP may need to have a 0 period. We've talked about that before together. Government is a required class to graduate. Your choices include the semester-long government or a semester of AP government, or for the DP students, you need to be choosing IB History of the Americas year 2. Questions? Okay, moving on. Next year, you need to take econ to graduate. You have choices between econ, the semester, or you can do AP Econ, which is a year-long course, and to fulfill the grad requirement, you must fulfill both semesters of AP Econ. You might be asking, well, I'm planning to do Econ or government in the summer. Great. When the summer school form comes out, we'll make sure you get a chance to sign up for that, and we'll amend your fall schedule as needed. But for the purposes of making your course request now, please go ahead and select the social science, econ or gov, if that's your plan, for right now. We can amend it when we meet or after you sign up for summer school.
All I'm doing over here, as Mrs. Hebert is explaining how you're making your selections, this is kind of how the counselor brain is working. So if you can see what we're thinking about, it helps you to understand why we ask for certain things. So consider a 6-period day. When we're asking you questions, it's because we're trying to make sure that we've got enough coursework that's going to make your 6-period day. And then when you have semester-long classes, we're just making sure that things are balanced. So you're choosing 2 different classes, but if they're both semester-long, we're seeing that as a single period. So don't worry about that on your form, but just I'm going to be doing it over here so that you can see how we're building your schedule, okay?
All right. Next year, all of you need to be in English. For the most of you, IB English is a 2-year course sequence. So for, I would imagine, 100% of you, you will be choosing IB English second year. If you had a different plan, you could choose a different English class next year. For you people, I would not recommend AP Comp if you wanted to switch. English 101 is a dual enrollment English class that we offer at Claremont High School. It tends to be offered primarily at 0 period. That is an option, but again, as IB English students, we would recommend you stay in IB English and continue with that 2-year course sequence. Any questions? No questions? Okay. Next is math. The graduation requirement is simple: a year of integrated Math 1 and a year of any other math, but I presume that many of you are looking to continue your education well beyond high school. So if you are currently in Math 2, you would choose Math 3 next year. If you're in Math 3, pre-calculus. If you're in pre-calculus, many students might be choosing IB Math or AP Mathematics. Do you guys know what your next math step is? Because there are a lot of branches to math. Do you guys have any questions on math? Because we definitely want to be able to answer questions. Yes.
If you're not a full diploma candidate right now, but then next year you want to take an IB Math, is it still possible?
Absolutely. Yes. It's not.
He said a diploma.
For high school diploma? No, it's totally eligible. IB Math is open to all students, but if you're an IB Math diploma candidate, you do need to keep a certain complement of of IB courses, including math. So may I ask what your math is this year?
Right now it's Calc
Okay, and you're trying to go into IB Math AI or AA? AA? Theoretically, it's possible, but I've had personal experience this year with a couple of my seniors that move did not work well. If you're in AP Math this year and you're not IB diploma, my personal opinion would be to stay with AP Calc BC instead of move to the IB. And the vice versa too. If you're IB Math AI and AA they align, but they're not the best prerequisite for the higher math course, the next year's math course. Question? So a new math course for next year is AP Pre-Calculus. That's brand new to Claremont High School. So that could be an option if you're enjoying math this year. AP Pre-Calculus is new. It's on the course request form. You could also consider maybe AP Stats, IB Math AI SL after Math 3. All of those would be appropriate. And then also there are 2 math dual enrollment courses for next year. Math 160, which is everyday living math, kind of like a liberal studies math course in college, and Math 165, which is statistics. Dual enrollment classes, you guys might know, are Citrus College classes offered on our campus during our school day, and they're taught by our teachers. So that could be a math class. Being college classes, it's a single semester to earn 10 credits for your high school diploma and your transcript. And they also earn dually 3 units of transferable math to colleges. So Math 160 is an option. Math 165 is an option. You can take both or you can take one. It's your decision. Yes?
How would I sign up for multiple math?
The 160, 165, you would simply request them. Yeah. Yes?
And I'm taking math classes.
Congratulations. that would be a discussion with your counselor. So you could put a random class, but you and your counselor need to talk that over about the math classes at the colleges.
One quick thing about I think your question was about 2 math classes. Okay, so I always tell students in the math spot where you are right now, indicate the class that you really want, because the other math will be seen as an elective. Okay, so we will attempt to put you in both of those classes if we can, but a lot of those decisions sometimes have to be made during registration once we are assured that everyone has a spot in a math class. So we see it as an elective, but I always say put the math class that you want in that spot, and then the other class would be seen as an elective if we can add that for you. Okay.
All right, thank you. I think that is our new math classes, AP Pre-Calc. Also, we will be amending the Enhanced 3 Pre-Calc class. Doesn't apply probably to most of you, but next year Enhanced 3 Pre-Calc will actually be retitled Enhanced 3 AP Pre-Calc. And that is a 2-year course concentrated into 1 year. So you get 2 years of math curriculum done in 1 year, and that new proposed change, that Enhanced 3 Pre-Calc, will also be a weighted class, okay? Just like AP Pre-Calculus will be weighted. All right, science. Most of you are done with your 2 years of required science for the diploma. Most of you are done with your 2 years of college prep science, which is biochemistry and/or physics. You can take more science next year, and you're always encouraged to do so, especially if you're thinking about careers and majors that involve science. We offer one new course next year, IB Environmental Systems and Society. Thank you for changing that. IB Environmental Systems and Society is an IBSL science course, and it seeks to explore the impact of humankind's influence on the environment and solutions about it. It's somewhat similar to AP Environmental Science, but it is an IBSL course. All students are welcome. Some of you who are doing IB Diploma who are not in a science this year can consider doing SL Environmental Science or IB Sports Exercise, or IB Physics SL is your SL Science required by IB. All right, and then alternate science if you don't get your first choice. We will tell you that certain science courses are more popular than others, so we may be asking you for a backup alternative.
Can we take a look at if you aren't taking a science? Now, again, my assumption would be that many of you are going to continue to take science. There may be a valid reason why some of you say, you know, this is my 4th year because I took chemistry in the summer. There's something else I'm going to pursue. I'm doing a pathway of a certain sort. So if you did not select a science, I just want you to see what it would prompt you to do next. In lieu of taking a science, because again, we're trying to build a 6-period day, it's going to ask you to give us your elective, okay? So if you're choosing a science, that's what would go there at that 4th period spot, okay, hypothetically. But if you're not choosing a science, we still need a 4th period. So we are going to ask you to choose an elective, and you have a drop-down menu to make your selections, plus 2 unique alternates. So, for example, we have up here as an example bodybuilding. I wouldn't want to see bodybuilding, and then my alternate is bodybuilding, and then my alternate to that is bodybuilding. That's not giving me choices. So whatever your choice is, make it, and then give us 2 unique alternates for that, okay?
I also wanted to correct something I said earlier about math. The question was about, like, should I do this? Should I do that? I gave my opinion because I've seen it, but I would also talk to your teachers, your math teacher this year, and kind of get some feedback on what would be the best course of action. That's why we do want to give you at least a week to make your choices and the opportunity to talk to us about it when we meet for your registration meeting later on through social science. So please do talk to your teachers. They're the best source of information. All right, so world language. If you're full IB diploma, many of you are either in 3rd year world language, or you may be ahead and finishing your IB world language this year, which is great. If you want to continue your trajectory, I think you know your options. We do want to remind you that there is, we offer years 1 through 4 at CHS, and we have the Honors French, Honors German 3, and Honors Spanish 3, as well as IB. So here's an example. If you are ready for IB German next year, you would be selecting that. Does anybody have questions about what to select for world language? If you're finished with world language, then you can select. I do want to show that we do have the LSB 81Y, which is IB Spanish, Language and Culture, or Spanish 5. As options, that's the 5th year option. Please let us know if you're interested in the 5th year option. Every year we try to build a Spanish 5 class, but we need like a minimum number of students to be able to offer it. Yeah, and there was a question over there too. I didn't hear the last part. IB language. You could try to, one option is you can talk to your counselor about selecting or taking languages at the colleges, but it is space available and time available issue. And you could also try to select the Spanish 5 shown here, if that's your goal.
The nature of this form is going to force you to select something. So again, that's the beauty of having that meeting with your counselor, because then we can go back and edit. So you may have to select something to be able to move forward, but then that will be our conversation when you can say, you know, I selected that level, but I'm actually in that level now. This is what I really want to take. That's kind of a unique situation, but you'll need to select something to be able to advance.
Is there a question over here? Yeah.
So I'm already taking French
IB?
IB this year, so next year would I have to like go to the college?
You don't have to, no. It's an option, possibly, but for many of you who are in IB or AP language as juniors, now you have an open space for an elective. By no means are we forcing kids to go to the colleges for a language. Some of you want to because you have other, you have personal goals, educational goals. But for most, it means a space, especially if you're IB diploma. This is where you may have that space for your first choice elective. Like maybe you've been missing being on Wolf Packet or theater, and now you've created some space in your schedule senior year if you're IB diploma. All right, elective choices. We have so many electives at Claremont High School. Some new electives for next year, recently announced, is a new dance class. It'll be earning fine arts credit. Any level is eligible. So the dance class is on your form, and it's like brand new. It's going to go up for board approval, and it will go up also for approval from the UCs and Cal State, so that it is a true, visual and performing arts class, VPA class. Other electives, there's a whole bunch of electives to choose from. I'm trying to remember, are there any other new classes that electives for next year?
Ethnic studies.
Oh, yes, thank you. Ethnic studies is an elective option for next year. And the dual enrollment courses. Okay, so dual enrollment courses are listed here. There's a lot of dual enrollment classes at CHS. Some quick reminders. Dual enrollment courses are a single semester, so it is possible to take 2 over the course of your senior year or more. And new courses overall-ish would be the English 216, which is that was Latino literature, and English 243, African American literature. They earned English elective credits. They do not fulfill the English requirements for the diploma. And let's see, what else is new? For right now, those are familiar.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah. All right. So going forward, we've made some, quick choices. Go ahead and, sorry. So there's some confirmation pieces that you understand what you're doing. And then you'll be able to hit submit. Is anybody there yet? Yes, good, good. Go ahead and submit. Nothing will blow up, don't worry. And it'll say, you know, your responses have been recorded. And then you can see where it says edit your response. You can go back to that as many times as you want in a week and edit your responses. You talk to a friend, you talk to a teacher, you change your mind, you can edit. And then you can also edit when you meet with your counselor. Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trost, can you very quickly just show them if you go out of this? So if you didn't want to edit right then, you watch the webinar tonight, you talk it over with your family, you say, you know what, I chose something today during second period, I want to change it. You go back to the CHS website and you would, I didn't see what you just clicked. Oh, course selection, and it takes you right back there, okay, where
And
you
then,
can again edit.
And if you would demonstrate, thank you. There it is. It's right back open for you. And you'll see your responses and you can change.
One quick thing, I'm sorry, just so you know, if you change something, so let's say you decided that you changed from IB Sports to AP Physics, just know that in order for that change to register, you still have to go through and hit next and then submit at the very end. So you'll need to hit next until you get to that spot that you're wanting to change, make that edit, don't close your computer down, go to the end and hit submit, and that will kind of absorb the change or the edit that you made, okay?
Yes. Yeah. It depends on your schedule. I mean, if you wanted to take 2 electives, you can. You might be buying yourself 7 classes, but yeah.
Any question back here?
Yeah, would IB HOTA 2 build the job?
Thank you. Yes, it does. It's the second. Absolutely, yes. 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 Yes, it is. Economics is required. The grad requirement can be fulfilled by the semester of econ or the full year of AP econ. Yes.
So, I think you already said this, but is English 101 only during 0 period?
This year, it's available 0 and 7th, but we can't predict. It's historically been a 0 period class. It fills quickly. And summer school might be an option for English 101 too, as well. We offered that last summer. But think about if you want to continue your 2-year IB English sequence since you're in IB English this year. And remember, the IB English exam is at the 2nd year. It's in May of senior year for you. Yes.
IB HOTA built from a government, would we have to take IB HOTA?
Yeah, IB HOTA is a full year course. It depends on your schedule. Some kids do econ in the summer to free up their schedule, or you could do it as a single semester fall or spring. It's up to you. And that's part of the discussion. We just want to know the courses you want to take so we can start building our master schedule. Yes, Becca? Our school caps it at 2 classes, although it may be possible to take like Econ Government and a class like Art 110, which is a dual enrollment VPA class, because that should be done online. So it might be possible to squeeze in 2. I mean, 2 is for sure. It might be possible to squeeze in 3. You had a question.
There were 2 options for AP Physics C on the form. Does it matter which one we select?
AP Physics C really needs to be considered as a full year-long class. For some reason, our district likes to separate it into 2 separate semesters, but please select both semesters. I think it's code 63 and 64Y, or 63, 64 for IB Physics. I mean, AP Physics C. No.
We will need to change that. Select either one of them, it doesn't matter. You'll be putting both.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're an IB diploma candidate but you want to advance in physics, I'm taking IB physics as like try and go into physics, or should I do IB?
Talk to your counselor, talk to Ms. Evans, but depending on what your HL is, I've seen, you know, if HL is say bio for you, I don't know, what's your 3rd HL? Art, okay, great. So it may be possible for you to take AP Physics and still fulfill the IB diploma requirements but also augment your physics. But talk to your counselor, and you can select it. Yes, it sounds that way to me. Yes.
So where it talks about alternate science choices,
Mhm.
you're already taking, like I'm taking IB Bio right now, the
Yes.
first year,
Yes.
and I select IB Bio 2. Is there a possibility that I won't be allowed in IB
No,
Bio 2?
no, we will make a for students who, whether you're IB or non-IB, if you're in a IB HL sequence, like bio, like English, like HODA, you are prioritized as long as you've requested it to take that second year, because you may be testing, it's your knowledge base, it's all those things. We definitely want to prioritize the IB HL students in every way. No more questions?
I have one thing, because I'm not sure if we covered this when we were talking about new electives. We talked about the team sports that's listed there. Okay, so for those of you who are student athletes, how many of you are on a sport team here at CHS? Okay, and so since this is a class where not everyone is working towards full diploma, I know if you're full diploma, sometimes there's not space for this, but you're going to also notice that there's a new elective, and Mr. Trosh, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to remember what you said in the last period. Team sports is an added course for next year, designed specifically for students who are on a sport team, and it will be a 6-period offering. So for students, traditionally students haven't really had a space during the normal 6-period day in which they can kind of start with their sports training or sports, I guess, progression into their afternoon. That's added for next year. So at this point in time, that the team sports that you will see in the drop down is really designed for that purpose. So especially if you're an athlete who sometimes has to miss or get pulled early, if there's room in your schedule to add that as an elective, just know that that would be an elective that would go at the 6-period spot to accommodate for your sports preparation. Did I kind of cover that accurately?
You did, but the second point is most of you are pretty much done with your PE credits, especially if you're athletes. So it's not a must.
Right.
And it also can be mitigated, not doing team sports, but having a 0 through 5 possibly. But if you're full IB, there are some different parameters. But the team sports is new, and again, it's designated for athletes so that they don't miss as much time in the classroom. Since we have a few more minutes, I just wanted to go over the website so you kind of know some of the features of this counseling website. We talked about the course selection piece. So if you go below the course selection form, there is a tab that says grad and UC requirements, and that will bring you to this page. You've probably seen it before, but it's just a quick overview of requirements to graduate. We have eliminated the computer ed or tech ed grad requirements, so be aware of that. The UC CSU requirements, again, the CSU UC requirements, the A through G requirements are basically a template for minimum admission requirements to UCs and Cal States, but they do mirror the college prep requirements required by other colleges. And you always are encouraged to go beyond the minimum in your college preparation classes, like IB English is going beyond the minimum. To have more choices as you're looking at the full range of options you have after high school. And then the last column is the NC2A requirements. So if you are an athlete and you are hoping to play sports competitively in college, you need to know about the NC2A. Those are the requirements. Let your counselor know. It's a question on your course request form if you are planning to play sports in college, because Division I and Division II schools do have a certain eligibility criteria and process, and we want to make sure you know that and you move forward. We go back. Thank you. The course description book. The course description book is this like hefty guide about the classes we offer, giving you a brief overview of the course and also indicating things like prerequisites or recommended prerequisites. Just as you wouldn't go into integrated Math 3 if you hadn't had Math 2 or Math 1, there are some recommended courses grades and coursework before you're ready for certain classes. So that can be a tool for you to look at. It's not updated yet because all the courses have to be updated annually by the school board, and that process hasn't happened yet. If we can go back, thank you, Mr. Trosh. On the far right side where it says college links, and that's perfect. Let's do electives. That's really good. So the electives catalog is our attempt to try to make all your elective choices more current, because we know our course description book lags in that. So it gives you all the courses that are offered as electives next year. And we've categorized them by their different departments. So we want you to see your choices. And if you are an AVID, that is definitely something we want to encourage that you do next year, AVID 12. The math courses, you can kind of see the drop-down menu and how it works, but it is most up to date. In fact, as of like midnight last night, right? Okay. And then going back to the website, on the far right side are some college links. If you did not attend junior night on January 11th, we do have that information and a webinar there. It was really valuable. Totally encourage you guys to take a look at that. But on the far right side under college links, things to keep in mind is some of you may want to be taking admission tests this spring or early fall. While the UCs and Cal States are test free, there are over 75% of colleges that are test optional. But if you're looking at highly competitive colleges that are test optional, and you have a competitive major such as biology, biochem, engineering, nursing, it also can be value added if you take a SAT or ACT and admission test and do well and submit them. Our suggestion is think about taking an admission test. Don't report those scores yet. Don't send them anywhere. Just know where you stand. And later in the fall, when you're applying to college, you can decide if you want to send those scores or not, because the scores can, again, enhance your application. So there's information about the SAT, the ACT, the testing dates, generally speaking. You need to register for the test 5 weeks before the exam to get the deadline, lower fees, and choose a location closer to your home.
One thing, can I interject? Mr. Trosh, if you scroll up, I think this is where we see that what you added. Perfect. There is actually going to be on March 11th, and it's not on your form in front of you on your important dates, but you'll want to make a note that there will be another webinar sponsored by Sally May, and it's all about scholarships. So we're going to have someone representative of kind of how to help you start looking for scholarships. So you may want to add that to your to-do list. Again, it's convenient for you and your parents to listen into. Scholarships are free. That's free money. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so especially if you are a student who's done well, has strong academic prowess, you're going to want to see, hey, what are the opportunities for me to apply for different scholarships? Now, one thing I want you to be aware of as well, and Mr. Trosh, you can scroll down under where I think it was the junior night information, there are links. And even though you have a short list of to-do items, please realize that there is a more extensive list of to-dos or what you should be covering at this point in time. So I would encourage all of you, and we'll have this handy for you to also grab when we meet with you for your credit check. But go online and look at this. You can see that there are tons of dates here just to help you know what you should be doing when, and links to those sites. So the same sites that Mrs. Hebert was showing you about how to sign up for SAT, how to sign up for ACT, those are all listed here for you so that you can get a direct link to College Board, to ACT, to FastWeb, which is another scholarship search engine, the UC application, Cal State application. Again, too early for you to work on those things, but again, it's a one-stop spot for you to be able to see everything that you're going to need to help you navigate between now and the start of your senior year. Okay.
In April, we're going to have lunch sessions in room 105 to kind of help you, remind you about the importance of using school links for career search, college search, talking about letters of rec, talking about all the things that hit the road hard in September when we come back to school. So look forward to those April sessions, and then we will be seeing you very, very shortly through social science. I know the period is just about over. Any other questions? Gosh, okay. Well, we'll see you soon. And do remember too that at lunchtime, counselors are available to talk to kids. So feel free to come in, talk to your teachers, listen up for any other announcements. But we'll be seeing you very, very shortly. And thank you so much for being such a great class. Thank you.